okay, so would that be cash or would you be financing? Would that be cash or would you be financing? Now you know who your real life buyers are and who's going to have to get approval from someone else before they can actually tell you yes. What's going on, guys? It's your man Ed Hayes, the wholesale coach here, back for another video. And in this video, man, I want to talk to y'all about how to get out here and start to build up your cash buyers list, like how to actually talk to these cash buyers. Now, I recently made a video on how to talk to motivated sellers, but in this one, in the past, I've made videos on how to talk to cash buyers as well, but I just want to get a little bit more thorough with you all and have a conversation about how that initial chat with a cash buyer should go and how to get the best results, how to actually get these people onto your buyers list despite you not having inventory right at the moment when you're first starting off. All right, so without further ado, let's go ahead, let's get into it.
With me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Hey, coming down like precipitation. I ain't never met a...
All right, so we're just gonna jump right into this, guys. Let me know if y'all want me to make a video on ways to find cash buyers. I'll definitely make a video on that if I get enough comments talking about it down below. But in this video, we're just going to talk about the actual conversation. So let's just dive right into it. So first off, when I'm getting on a phone call with a cash buyer, first things first is that I'm not going to ask them, hey, is this John? I'm going to assume it's John. All right. Especially if you use some of my favorite methods for finding cash buyers. You can basically assume that it's that person on the line, right? That kind of sounds like, hey, John, this is Ed here. I'm just reaching out because I saw you had a property on, so-and-so website, or, enter your source here. I saw you had a property, da-da-da-da-da. I was just reaching out to try to see if you'd be interested in purchasing any more properties. Now, 90% of the time, you're going to get one of three responses. It's either going to be yes, no, or what do you got? Right? So in a yes scenario, I'm basically just trying to process that person on to the rest of the questions. So I'm like, okay, great. So if it's all right with you, I'd just like to ask you a few questions to make sure that I can bring you the types of properties that you're most interested in. And they're usually like, okay, yeah, boom, boom. So, I kind of just get right into the questions. Now, in a no scenario, I don't just want to fold. I'm going to be like, okay, no problem at all. You wouldn't happen to have any properties that you're looking to sell right now, would you? Boom. So I want to always ask anybody that's not interested in buying if they're interested in selling. You will be shocked at how many opportunities you can get from asking people if they want to sell. So don't just fold. Always try to get the best result from this phone call. Now, in a what do you got scenario, I'm typically going to reply back by saying, well, John, I like to work a little bit differently than my competitors. Instead of just filling up your inbox with a bunch of properties that you'll probably never move on, I like to reach out to investors like you first and find out what you're looking for so that I can just get out there and get hunting for you. So if it's all right with you, I'll just like to ask you a few questions to make sure that I can bring you the types of properties that you're most interested in. See, in that scenario, I used a strategy called looping. So they asked a question, so I looped it back to the original purpose of the phone call or the next question in the series of questions. All right, so looping is a very, very important strategy, and we'll talk about more strategies in a little bit. Now, but you want to loop for anything. If you got to ask any questions, you want to use the looping strategy. So if they're like, are you a realtor? No, I'm not a realtor. I work with investors in the area. So I decided to give you a call and see if you were interested in selling. If it's, oh, how'd you get my phone number? Oh, I got it from public records. So I decided to reach out to you to see if you'd be interested in buying any more properties. Whatever it is, make sure that you loop every single time. It's a very, very important strategy, y'all. Now, from there, I'm going to actually get into the real life questions, like the real meat of the conversation with the buyer, right? So start off with, okay, John, tell me, what types of properties are you most interested in? Are you looking for single families, multis? And I'll kind of let it linger off like that, right? And they'll fill in the blank like, oh, no, I'm looking for mobile homes or something like that, right? So, and then from there, I'm like, okay, and what types of projects are you looking to do? Are you looking to do like fix and flips, rehabs? Boom, you know, I kind of let it linger off like that, and they'll fill in the gaps for me. Make sure that as you're having the conversation that you're taking very accurate notes of everything that they're saying. So then from there, I'm like, okay, John, well, tell me, what areas are you most interested in? Tell me, John, what areas are you most interested in? And then they'll tell me. And then from there, I'm going to be like, okay, and this goes for anybody, whether they gave me a full-on criteria or they're just like, oh, you know, I'll buy anything, anywhere. I always like to ask them, okay, then tell me, what areas do you like to stay away from? Because you will be shocked at how many people that say that they'll buy anywhere will ultimately start listing off like 10 different locations that they don't like to buy properties in. All right, so kind of keep that in mind. And then from there, I'm going to ask them, okay, John, tell me, what's your preferred purchase price? What's your preferred purchase price? Boom. From there, like, regardless of how they answer that question, I'm going to ask them, okay, so would that be cash or would you be financing? Would that be cash or would you be financing? So then when you ask that question, now you know who your real life buyers are and who's going to have to get approval from someone else before they can actually tell you yes on the property. Now from there, I'm going to go ahead. That's basically like the main meat of like the real criteria. Basically like, what do you want? Where do you want it to be at? How much do you want to pay? Right? So those are kind of like the base level questions, but I also have some more additional questions that I like to ask as well. So the next question would be, okay, John, well, tell me, like, you know, if I was to be able to bring you exactly what you're looking for, how quickly could you close? How quickly would it take you to close on something like that? Boom. So then they'll let you know that. And then also you may want to go ahead and ask them, okay, John, well, tell me, how many properties have you purchased in the last 12 months? You want to get a feel for like the real life volume. So that's a great question to ask. Just keep this in mind. It's like some people may get offended by you asking them that question. Those are usually the people that aren't really doing very many deals. They'll get offended because they've only done 1 or 2 or something like that. Whereas the person who's done like 50 to 100 deals will kind of get a little braggadocious at that time. They'll be like, oh, well, you know, something slight, little 100 piece, you know, things like that or whatever. They get a little braggadocious. So kind of keep that in mind. Now, basically, that's basically like the end of the real life conversation. These calls really only last about 3 to 5 minutes typically. But from there, you want to definitely get their contact information and basically wrap up the phone call. So that typically sounds like, okay, John, I think I got just about everything that I need here. Before I let you go, though, is this the best phone number to contact you back on? Okay, great. And then what's your best email address? Make sure that you stress the best word, because a lot of times when you find these people information online, that's not their best contact information. So you definitely want to make sure that you confirm the best contact information. And then at that point, that's when you'll hit them with that ending spiel like, okay, John, I think I've got just about everything that I need here. I appreciate you taking your time out to chat with me. Give me about a week or two to get you something on deck, and I'll be reaching back out to you with some properties that match your criteria. Bang. Something around those lines. So there we go, guys. That's basically the entire conversation with a cash buyer. Like I said, these calls usually last about 3 to 5 minutes, so they aren't very, very long. But that's how you go through and have an efficient conversation with a cash buyer, whether or not you have inventory right now. I would rather have customers without inventory than inventory without customers, because once you get that inventory, you don't want to be out here trying to wing it, hoping and wishing that you're gonna have a customer who's ready to buy that property. So once you have these conversations with cash buyers, you'll get ingratiated with them. You'll have millionaires calling your phone asking you what your inventory is looking like right now. Anyway, though, guys, man, I hope that this video helps, man. Make sure y'all get out there, start getting these cash buyers on deck. Thank me later, man. I hope that y'all staying healthy and staying blessed. And until next time, guys, we are out.